My father used to say, "Watch this man."
He's been cited by IGN, The Quartering, Timcast, The Daily Wire, Bounding into Comics, and even Dr. Jordan B. Peterson.
Disney insider WDW Pro recently speculated on.
Time and time again, he's broken big entertainment news live on the air.
I've been following WDW Pro and his track record for years. If you want to find out what's on the horizon for theme parks, Pro is where you go.
Let's check in on Ryan Johnson's new trilogy.
Okay.
I bypassed the compressor.
What did you do, Ray?
Son of a... That's gonna leave a mark.
Now, he was okay, after 6-7 weeks. Okay? They get over it. Kids are resilient like that.
Yeah. I hate it.
It's the standard, what would George do?
I don't want you here.
So sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Fly, you fools.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
Weird. Stay away from liquor, kids.
I have always liked Cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
Now that's more like it, Mr. Wayne.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
The Force will be with you. Always.
That's how winning is done.
I am vengeance. I am the night.
That's what she said.
I am Batman.
If I won tonight, I would come home and we'd celebrate. Well, I'm coming home, we're celebrating. God bless you all.
Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. What we think, we become.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in just 2 minutes, the lighting at the Magic Kingdom will dim for the performance of the Pro Show. We hope you enjoy and have a magical, truthful time. For the safety of others, please, no flash photography. And welcome to Provision 3D.
Alrighty, everyone, put on your comfy glasses.
Keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
You know that you've been taught the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Yes, Paul.
Autobots, roll out.
I'm bringing the party to you.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money?
Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
We're gonna do it!
Alright, it's time to go to school, son. Come on, get your hands up, man!
Are you okay?
Never take our freedom!
From the redwoods of California to the hills of Tennessee to the Rockies in the Sunshine State and Maine with that bright and shining sea. From coast to coast in North America, it's time for your host with the most, bringing you all the entertainment news that should be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the WDW Pro Show! Hello, folks. Welcome aboard. We are ready to hop straight into the most recent Agatha all along. And oh my gosh, this show is too long. Lorena, I had high hopes as the episode began, and those hopes were waning by the end. But I have to say that the first half of this episode was by far, without any doubt, unquestionably the best that this show has been. And, well, it was really, really good TV. The problem is the second half happened, and we went right back into the muck and the yuck of Agatha. Lorena, welcome aboard. This is your first time joining us for the Agatha After Party. Folks, we have quite a few panelists who will be joining us a little bit later on. They are finishing the episode as we speak. Lorena, your first thoughts as we get ready to dive into this charity stream, and we'll be making note of some of those out there who are already donating in such kindness to victims of the hurricane. But Lorena, your thoughts as we get started with Agatha All Along, episode 6.
Oh, well, I'm a little embarrassed because I have not been watching Agatha All Along past the first two episodes.
Well, welcome to being just like almost everyone else.
Okay, because it did not grab me. As a comic book fan, it didn't grab me. I don't care who Agatha or Harkness is at all. I just mainly cared about the Scarlet Witch. She's dead. I don't care. That aside, even just the writing quality of the show, I can't. I don't have the patience for it at all. There's nothing at all. I love Catherine Hahn, but no.
Well, let's show the big spoiler, folks. And I don't think many people out there are going to be annoyed by this, but it is time. We're going to show you what is the big deal. What are we supposed to be learning in episode 6 that's going to blow us all away? No, it's not the big bad wolf. That would be better. It's this. It's Billy. Wanda Maximoff, dead. Vision, dismantled. Tommy Maximoff, missing. Billy, oh, he's writing the notes. And this is what they wanted us to know about. This is the big deal, is that this character that we've been watching named Teen, he is actually a reincarnated person. For he died in a car wreck that did not really harm anyone else, but apparently offed him. And he's dead. And then somehow Billy Maximoff, the pretend child of Wanda Maximoff, again, a pretend child, managed to inhabit the real, just recently deceased body of someone who had died and reanimate inside that body. And then the good Jewish kid who was having a coming-of-age party where apparently, I didn't know this, Lorena, apparently Jewish kids now, they have real-life fortune-telling, like serious fortune-telling booths set up in their blacklight coming-of-age Jewish parties. Didn't know that.
I didn't see that at my friend's bar mitzvah.
Isn't that strange? It's Marvel lives in a different universe, let me tell you. But so the Jewish boy who made everyone proud, he is re-inhabited after he dies by Billy Maximoff. Nobody knows that he's done that. And he turns into an emo goth kid with a gay lover who is also a witch and wants to find Agatha Harkness. In other words, it's every parent's worst nightmare they never even knew they had. There you go, folks. That's the Billy we're rooting for today. That's Billy. Lorena, are you rooting for Billy after this?
I'm not rooting for any of these people.
Lorena, he's a pretend child of Wanda. Come on, you've got to root for a pretend child.
When he was still a pretend child, yes. But you're going through this whole convoluted thing of bringing him back. And yes, I still have a problem with the fortune telling at the bar mitzvah.
Weird.
This is just me, but
is that a hidden Mickey in his ear, Lorena? Is that earring? Is the little emo earring in the left ear right on the screen? Is that a hidden Mickey?
It could be. Is it a hit? It could be a hidden Mickey. It could be a heart. I don't know.
I just hope there's no hidden hickeys. We don't want to know about those, especially on this show. This is the sigil sign that we're supposed to all be impressed with. It's a ziggy-zag snake-looking thing. But that's the sigil that apparently let us all know that Billy, the fake child invented by Wanda in her mind, had somehow inhabited a real kid and taken over his body. That's the sigil that let us know that was going to happen. Interesting, I suppose, if anyone cared about these characters, but nobody does. And if they think that they're going to take this character and turn it into a Young Avengers kind of thing, this kind of an origin story where it makes absolutely no sense, like it takes paragraphs to explain who Billy is. And when you get to the end of the paragraphs, people go, really? Because nobody's going to care about this character. Like, you can't start off with, oh, well, he was an imaginary boy who escaped the confines of a huge witchcraft illusion and somehow inhabited the recently deceased to take over his body. Like, that's a winning origin story for this character. Really, we're gonna love that. Really.
And I get the impression this was all told and not shown. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, see, that's a problem. That's a big, huge problem. One of the best things about visual storytelling is you show, you do not tell. And as far as I'm concerned, unless you show Mephisto, I don't freaking care.
Who knows if we'll get the Mephisto? We don't know, but folks, we want to honor two people who have gifted $5. They've done so anonymously, which I think is extremely kind. Two people have donated $5. That's $10 that have been donated to the American Red Cross, specifically for relief for the hurricanes. Folks, we really do appreciate the charitable giving, and that's why we're doing this stream tonight is to do that. Now, we will be joined soon by Lauren Connor. We're going to be joined by Nolan Thunder. Culture Casino's going to try to make it over, and even Marvin the Movie Monster hopes to be able to join live from Halloween Horror Nights over at Orlando's Universal Studios. We'll see if we can make all that happen, folks. But before we do, Lorena, there is a story that's separate from Agatha that I really would like to get to, and I think you're the perfect person to talk with me about it. And right here it is. It is the Lightning Lane premiere. In other words, Lorena, it's a system Disney has decided to go with now to punish the poor. And by poor, I mean the vast majority, the middle class. Are you ready to dive in this with me, Lorena?
Let's do it. I already ranted on a live stream at the Magic Kingdom about this very thing earlier today.
Well, that's the perfect place to do it. Folks, as we get ready to do this, I just want to remind you, we'll come back to Agatha, do the full review as our other panelists are finishing the episode and they're able to join in. I watch it very quickly so that I'm able to commentate and get these live streams up and going. All right, here's the article, folks. We'll come back to Agatha in just a moment. This is out of The Points Guy, and it's by Summer Hull. Disney introduces new Skip the Line Pass, and it starts at $329 per day for the Magic Kingdom. Oh, it is the greediest place on earth. Here we go. Good news, everyone. Disney just introduced another way to skip the line. Bad news? It's going to cost you a lot. And by the way, that $329, that doesn't even begin to cover how much this is going to cost. Hang tight, we'll explain. If you don't want to mess with booking ride return times, would rather skip navigating 3 different tiers of rides, don't want to choose which 3 rides to secure before your trip, or have your nose in your phone on vacation, and you simply want one-time access to every single Lightning Lane ride in the park, whatever you want, there's now a pricier solution. Lightning Lane Premier Pass. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just call this Fast Pass again? The Disney Lightning Lane Single Pass and Multi-Pass plans remain available. This new premium offering will debut October 23rd at Disneyland and October 30th at Disney World as a pilot program with very limited availability. It will be available at launch only to those staying at deluxe Disney World hotels and villas while any guest at Disneyland in California can make the purchase. You'll be able to purchase the pass up to 7 days in advance at Disney World and 2 days at Disneyland, except for those who wish to purchase it on the launch date, as the pass will only be available on that day. Now, Lorena, the average cost of staying at a deluxe resort at Disney World is about $700 a night. So just to even be able to get access to spend an additional $300 per person per day on this, you've got to stay at one of the deluxe resorts. But here's the fascinating thing about it, Lorena, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it. The other fascinating thing about this Lightning Lane Premier Pass is that, and we'll get that off the screen. The other interesting thing about it is, if it is a day such as today or yesterday or any of the days really of October, September, when there aren't many people in the parks, you talk about hosing people. I mean, there is no reason to buy the lowest level of Lightning Lane, let alone spending $300 plus to be able to skip lines that aren't there. Almost everything lately is a walk-on. So you are hosing them big time if they're paying. I mean, you're talking about a family of four spending $1,000 extra a day. I think Disney's desperate to get money. I think this is the latest scheme they've come up with. Folks, I want you to remember this that they have right now, where you have to spend $700 a night just to get access. And then for a family of four, it's like $1,000. Okay. All of this was free 6 years ago. This was a free part of just going to Disney for everyone, because you could get fast passes for any attraction you wanted. You just had to wait for your fast pass to be up, and you could get another one. All of this was free. Disney's desperate. Lorena, what do you think? And then we'll talk about how this punishes the middle class.
Disney is desperate and tone deaf. I couldn't believe this when I saw it, but I could believe it when I saw it. You are basically putting into effect, again, another caste system when it comes to Walt Disney World. One of the great things about visiting Walt Disney World back in the day was it didn't matter what level of resort that you stayed at, whether it was Pop Century or whether it was the Grand Floridian. Every resort guest or hotel guest, Disney hotel resort guest, got access to an hour of extra magic hours in the morning, 3 hours of extra magic hours in the evening. So instead of doing that, now it's okay, only if you are, well, we won't say rich enough. We'll say if you have or are willing to put up the disposable income to pay for this, this is your caste level. So while everyone else, for the most part, doesn't want to pay that amount of money, doesn't want to pay, the price of entry into this, which is, $700 for deluxe resort, deluxe being either Animal Kingdom Lodge or the Wilderness Lodge to start out with. While everyone's else waiting in line, you've got these people who are going to be able to, in effect, skip all of us, not have to make a reservation, and they wind up clogging up the standby line, because when they put those people in there from the Lightning Lane, you have to wait while they let 40, 50, 60 some odd people, and then let a couple of the folks in the standby lane go by. So basically what Disney is saying is, you poor people do not have enough money to matter to us.
Absolutely. And Lorena, I agree wholeheartily. I want to talk about how this punishes the middle class. Before we do, though, we've got another guest, and his his reputation precedes him, but not nearly as much as his beard. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Culture Casino.
That's actually true. Shows up oftentimes. Hello, love. Hello, dear. And I think your assessment's 100% spot on. And I think Pro's assessment is spot on. I think this really does tell the average guest Disney doesn't care about you. And I think they've been leaning into this since they created this program in the first place. They started beta testing it in 2013. And as somebody who has experienced the FAIR program, which was Legacy FastPass, and the opportunity for people who actually were staying on property to have a slight advantage over other people, this is kind of despicable. The perks and the benefits of being, you know, a Disney guest have all but evaporated completely, and I don't know that there's anything else there. This being rolled out in multiple parks and likely across the entire company at some point is going to undermine, I think, Disney's future. And I think this is the evidence that I've been trying to point out for a while, that this company is incredibly superficial to the next quarter. They only think about quarter to quarter earnings. They don't think about the long-term health of their company. I think you would agree, right, Lorena?
Yeah, 100%. And another thing to add to that, some folks are saying, well, you know, you have to have six figures now in order to afford the park. Well, there are people who make six figures who were like, screw this. And for quite some time, ever since, you know, 2013, when stuff started acting really strange, we're just like, why are these prices going up? We're not, forget wasting money at Deluxe. We're going to go stay at Pop Century and Art of Animation and love it there. And hardly ever crack your wallet open to pay for anything at Disney because of this. And it really, it's disgusting. It's no longer family friendly. Remember when Disney used to tout how budget friendly they were?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You take a family of four and it's affordable and you get all these extra perks.
Yeah. Spend a week with your family of four at the Pop Century and enjoy all the perks of staying on property, from Magical Express to on-site, resort parking to the occasional, we're going to throw in all the food for that same price with the dining plan, and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there were so many different things that were budget friendly. They earned a ton of money out of the parks, and they don't do it anymore. It's very, here's the weird thing. You mentioned this magic number, right? Six figures. And I'm about to say something that's going to, maybe irritate some people, and I'm sorry, but six figures isn't what it used to be anymore. No. You now have two family households that are, eking by, and depending upon where you live in the country, on that kind of money. And it's cheaper for them to go on a much more extravagant vacation in Europe. If you travel abroad, you get a bigger experience for maybe even less money, but possibly equal money. You can go to Japan right now and visit the Asian parks for a surprisingly little compared to what it takes to go to Disney World for a week.
Well, let me throw this at you guys, okay? Yeah. Because you're exactly right. This is a ridiculous amount of money for people to spend. We've also assessed that if you go at a non-peak time of the year and you spend this money, it's a waste. So they are taking $1,000 from you and laughing the whole way because you gain almost nothing out of it. But it's also punitive to the middle class. I want to bring on Ron E. Bradley of Follow the Bradleys Fun to also talk with us about this. But here's some statistics for everybody. The Grand Floridian has about 867 rooms. Mm-hmm. The Contemporary has about 655. The Polynesian is right at 500 rooms. Okay? So we are talking about something like 1,400 rooms for just the Magic Kingdom Deluxe resorts, and we could go into Animal Kingdom Lodge. We can go into Fort Wilderness and all that. But here's the deal: there are enough families. So if you assume that each one of those rooms has something like 3 guests on average staying in there, you're talking about a huge number of people now. The elites of the elites who can afford this. And because they get to ride over and over and over, any ride they want, they get to ride. Now, they can't ride the same ride multiple times.
That's
right. But still, you're talking about this actually slowing down significantly the speed at which the standby line moves. So we're in a spot now where Disney is giving to people who pay an exorbitant amount of money the ability to go do what we used to do. And for the poor plebes, the person who just barely can afford it, they get their 5-year-old daughter on Main Street, and now they're going to stand in line double the time because the rich people get to ride while you get to stand there and watch them do it. This sucks. This is suckage.
But Disney is just reinforcing the idea, Pro, that there's no benefit to staying on property anymore. So why do it? Why do
clearly
it?
so you can spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for your stay.
But what I'm saying is, if you go just off property, just across the road, just a little bit a ways from Bear Lake, right? You have like a whole Marriott complex of hotels you can stay at and be within 5 minutes of Animal Kingdom Park, 10 minutes of Magic Kingdom, the Studios Park, and 12 minutes away from Epcot. What's the point?
And the new towers all look like Marriott's anyway.
They do, especially the new Poly Tower. Yeah, I look for somebody who has the benefit of some of the things that Disney has to offer. I will just tell you, I'd rather give it to people I know can't do it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's frustrating to me because there are families that I know that won't get access to the best vacation they can have because just staying on property is exorbitantly expensive, as it is, and then when, you add into that the theme park tickets, and now I can't imagine spending $330 a day.
Person.
Per person.
Yeah,
That is, you have to go up to like 400, and it's just it's just unconscionable when I think about it.
$1,300 for a family of four. Is my math wrong?
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
If they jack it up to 400, because there's that range between 329 to 400, so you can top out at $1,600. Think about that on top.
I think it actually goes up to $449.
I'm assuming that this is not including tax either. Is that?
Yeah, it's not including tax.
No.
They never tell you that.
Yeah, you got to pay. Yeah. It's.
Let's get Ron's thoughts on this. Ron hasn't had a chance to weigh in. Ron, tell us what you think about this new Lightning Lane premiere, which I assume they'll roll out to the moderates next because they're not going to get enough of these sales. And frankly, guys, we have covered, and it's on that Park Place. I don't have it ready yet. Maybe we should pull it up later. But Disney World appears, all the data that we're looking at, it appears to have had a decline in attendance for 8 months straight. That's the way it looks to us. It's at least had a decline in wait times for 8 months straight. That's why we're getting to these ridiculous schemes. Ron?
Well, the weird thing about this is if you know Universal, they have their Express Pass, and it's pretty pricey. It's about the same price range, but it's the exact opposite of this. If you stay at a deluxe hotel at Universal, you get that benefit for free as part of the staying there. As a matter of fact, that is a way they lure people to their deluxe hotels, because think about it. If you're a family of four and you're only paying $900 a night to stay at a deluxe hotel, and you get, say, $1,400 worth of Express Passes for free included in that. That's huge. Tremendous incentive to get on property. Disney's doing the opposite. Disney's saying, hey, if you're rich, let's see how much more we can suck out of you. And so it's just, and I'm like, at these prices, seriously, at the Magic Kingdom, why not just do a VIP tour? If you've got that much money, do a VIP tour instead of doing this ridiculous what is it, premier Lightning Lane?
Well, let's just think about it now. Okay, so you've got a family of four, as we've discussed, anywhere between $1,200 and $1,600 to do this. Plus, you're spending something like $700 a day for the hotel that's necessary to get to do this. So you're talking about, you're spending so much money. And again, folks, listen to me. Listen closely. If it's not one of the busiest times of the year, this is a total waste of money. It's not worth $1, because right now you can go on almost any Disney World ride you want, except for Hollywood Studios where they don't have enough rides. But you can go to almost any ride and basically walk on. At some point during the day, that can happen for you. You don't have to spend $2,000 a day to do this. This is insane, and it's the hubris of Disney. Final thoughts, panel.
Can I give a perfect example of that on one of the most popular rides, Rise of the Resistance? I went there the other day, and I got into the single rider line. Now, here's the interesting thing about the single rider line. I got into the single rider line by myself, but if I was
Did
with a
you
group
did
of
you pay
four,
$250 for the
I
single
paid
rider
nothing
line?
extra. Paid nothing extra.
Oh my gosh!
But
we probably shouldn't say this, Ron. I'm worried now. I'm worried Disney may get an idea out of this one.
Okay, yeah, quiet, right? Quiet down. But anyway, so I'm sitting in the single rider now. I'm worried at first because once I got to a stopping point, it just kind of stayed there for like the next 5 minutes and didn't move. Then all of a sudden, not only did the line move, but we were ushered into a backstage area, through the backstage area, and out back into the normal queue at the point where we were going into the room with Ray and BB-8. And literally waited less than 10 minutes to get on Rise of Resistance.
Okay, so here's the other skip that they can do. They can do what you just described, or they can take you all the way in through the back door, right on stage where all the stormtroopers greet you.
Yep.
So that's the other play they can do that. And look, I mean, I've done every version of, getting on that attraction you can possibly imagine. I'm just going to tell you, it's not worth paying. This is a travesty. It's disgusting. There is almost no reason now, to do anything on property. I'm sorry. They have nothing to offer you. Disney used to offer you a lot for your money. And I'm going to put it this way. Disney, with their attendance issues, and I suggest they're only going to get worse. But with their attendance issues, they're going to get even more desperate. The rich people, I'm going to tell you something right now. People who make $500,000 to $1 million a year, a household that does that, they'll go anywhere but Disney. It's not the rite of passage it is for middle class folks or folks of are striving to get there. It's I mean, it's a challenge. I mean, if you're struggling, you try to get your family on an exorbitant vacation like this once a year. It's something that you just try to do. They aren't going to have those people anymore. The families that stretch their budget, that show up every 5 years, 10 years, or even once in a lifetime, they're not even going to bother. Down the street, down I-4, I always say down the street, but it's down I-4 with a ways and a right turn. Okay, and you end up at Universal. And you know what? You get value for your money. They're not going to pump $400 out of you for your express pass. It's not cheap, but it isn't $400. And they have a brand new shiny theme park. And if you spend half your week there or more, by the way, it's going to be more now, Disney's missing out on 30% of what they used to have. And I only estimated that Disney would lose 20% when Epic Universe opened. I think I was being too conservative.
I think so.
Yeah,
but
they're going to lose. I'm sorry, I was just going to add. They're going to lose. They're going to lose way more than that. Like I've been telling people, you do not need to buy this. Just show up to the park as soon as it opens, and you can get done the top 3 things that you need to get done, and leave. Disney forgets that, that whole 80-20 rule going on, 80%. Who makes up the 80% of the revenue from your parks? That would be the middle class, people who spend years, or like my family did, some years we didn't get to go to Disney because we just had enough money to visit relatives in Florida. There were those kind of people that Disney would cater to. But as Kocho was saying, the people who are making like 500,000, $1 million, they're trying to cater to them, but they're also trying to cater to the foreign tourists that are coming in, because it's like, what if I spend all this money, say, to fly from Manchester to Orlando, and I don't get to do the attractions that I want to do?
Well, as we have said in the past, they are sacrificing the long term for short term gains yet again, and this is perhaps the worst we've ever seen. It's not going to take much for people to spend $2,000 a day and realize I got nothing in return. When you're talking about staying so many 5 days, when you're talking about 4 or 5 days, you're talking about the price of a vehicle for some people.
Yes,
for nothing.
For cash. You could buy that car for cash. I mean, there are some vacations you can take. If you stack a week-long vacation at Disney World with a 3, a 5, or a 7-day cruise, which a lot of people used to do in the past, okay, they would do a 2-week vacation. They would take full advantage of spring break or holiday break or whatever it was, even summer break, and they would do 2 weeks in Florida. Well, obviously a week in Florida and a week out to sea with Disney Cruise Line. You can't afford to do that anymore. You're going to spend $14,000, and what are you going to get for that? It's not a car. You're getting a vacation. Oh, well, I got all these great memories. Okay. But you could have done it a lot cheaper.
Exactly. I want to give Ron the final word on this, and then we're going to get to some important announcements real quick. Ron, go ahead.
I was going to say for $6,000 more than that $14,000, you can buy Optimus and have yourself a robot in your home that does everything for you now.
I tell you what, the best exchange is that Optimus robot. I told somebody the other day I would gladly spend that $30,000. Ron, what about you? You think so?
Yeah, if I had it, yeah. Oh my god,
you think
it folds laundry?
You think you think the boss lady would like that? I think she would.
Spend $10,000 to skip non-existent lines at Disney, or spend $30K for freshly folded whitey tidies. I know which way most will go.
What Culture had said, I have seen comment after comment after comment in threads on Facebook or Reddit, wherever. I just got back from Disney and I can't believe the money I wasted. I cannot believe Disney's come to this. I can't believe the downgrades. I know you guys have seen them. Sometimes I send them to you, but I send you about 1/30th of the comments that I see that are like that. And now with the DAS thing and those complaints, and it's just getting more expensive and you're getting less for it. And it's just this is 180 degrees opposite of Walt's Disney.
Oh, yeah.
Ron, have you heard in the parks, because every time I'm there, it never fails, I hear people complaining about getting a lightning lane, how much food costs. And that's a big issue, how much food costs and the quality of the food as well. You realize,
I think I've said this before, but they're looking, in Lorraine, I think you and I talked about this, when it comes to like any of the festivals, year over year increases, they're aiming for 12 to 15% when it comes to food and beverage revenue. Food and beverage revenue only, folks, is what I'm talking about.
Well, when you've got cake level prices, you can make that happen. But
why are you cutting down the size of portions? Because serving size matters. Why, the cups are getting smaller, kids. I mean, it's just over across the board. It is incredible. And you look, Pro, the reporting that you've been doing on the attendance levels. Do you realize what investors are going to see come earnings time?
Oh,
and do you realize that no other outlet out there is doing what we four are doing in bringing that attendance information to the masses? And we will continue to do so because investors need to know. But folks, it's time for us to move to the thing you're all here for, and that is the suffering, the great suffering that is Agatha. Before we do so, though, folks, we want to give a big shout out to those of you out there who are donating. I want to let everyone know that we've very carefully selected the charity for tonight's stream, and that is the American Red Cross, but specifically earmarked for victims of Hurricane Helene. And we know that although Milton did make a big mess of things, folks are really suffering, especially in North Carolina. And we're trying to get help that way. So I want to thank the two anonymous viewers who donated $5 each earlier in the show. We want to thank Flying Blind on a Rocket Cycle for donating $20 to the cause. Liberty's Hall Cat donated $50. Thank you, Liberty Hall's Cat. Just think of the help that's going to bring. The business that is Pro, not my personal account. I want to make that very clear. I don't want anybody to think that I'm being braggadocious, but the business that is Pro wants to share in helping and wants to set an example. So the business that is Pro has donated $100. And then anonymously, we have another $5 gift to charity. And Zephyr has donated $5 to the victims of the hurricane as we continue to try to do what we can to help them best. Folks, one of the things we can do to help out the best is to have a good time and generate a live stream that's worth being here and donating to. And unfortunately, that means you all came here to watch us suffer. So I think it's time we need to bring on our other panelists who have watched, who have suffered along with us, and we'll talk about Agatha all along.
Who could that be? Let's go see, boys and girls.
All right, folks, it's wonderful to see the chat already saying poor Lorne. They don't even know if he's there or not. They just say poor Lorne. And Nolan has become our newest sufferer here on the live stream. Welcome aboard to everyone who's watched. We told the audience at the beginning, when it was just Lorena and I, that, well, we went straight into spoilers. We always knew this was Billy Maximoff, but it's utterly confusing that a make-believe boy somehow escaped the imaginary world in which he inhabited and embodied a recently deceased young man who then everyone thinks he just had a really bad accident and has amnesia, and the seemingly Orthodox Jewish boy who got his fortune read at a blacklight party, a coming-of-age Jewish experience that I never knew existed, but apparently does. He turns into an ultra goth emo kid of gay persuasion who is also a witch that wants to find the witch's road and gain power. Now, that is every parent's nightmare they never knew they even had. But the face that Lorne has right now, we're going to go to Lorne because I got to find out what Lorne's thinking. Before we do, I just want to say, Lorne, make sure you unmute in a moment. But Lorne, I was actually really enjoying this episode for the first half. For the first half, I was like, oh my gosh, this could have been what this series was. Oh my gosh, this is actually interesting. And then the second half made me, you know what, Lorne? That is fine. I have clearly offended Lorne by saying that I enjoyed the first half of the episode. Now we're going to have to go to Nolan on this. Nolan, and Nolan, you're not second in any way, but Lorne's face, it was something of beauty. Nolan, could you share with us your thoughts on episode 6 and what you thought of the continuation of the story of the imaginary boy who thought he could be a witch?
Well, I'll tell you, this was actually my first time ever watching this series. It took some time, a big shout out to all the YouTube channels to help get you up to speed on all the events I don't care about missing. And I feel like I am now the latest victim of this show. It is very painful to watch. I'm actually with you, Pro. I think the first half of it was actually pretty well written. The acting was pretty solid. I think the soundtrack was actually pretty suspenseful, which is nice. It's kind of refreshing to say in this day and age because a lot of soundtracks are usually forgettable. But by the time we got to the second half, this thing was straight up cringe. It was hokey. It completely clashed with everything else going on. And I tell you, I'm not really vibing with Agatha as a character. She's kind of like, it's like she's trying to be like charming, like a lot of MCU characters. And she's just coming off as kind of like that kid you have in a group, who think they're funny and they just keep making jokes, but you just kind of die a little bit every time they talk. That's how I feel with this episode right now. It was just kind of forgettable.
Well, let me toss this to you all, and I'll toss it to Lorne specifically. And Lorne, I felt like the first half of the episode we got to meet a character that was cool and interesting and worthwhile, and then the character we've known inhabited the body of the recently deceased character that we actually cared about. Oh, we'll miss him. Was it Will? Is that his name? William? Is that his name? The original person who inhabited this body before it was stolen by fake Billy?
Yes,
I think
it was William.
They're both Billy. I don't want to do this anymore. Please. Please.
Okay, Lord.
Well,
Lord, tell us why this was painful.
I don't know that I can put words to it. I have disliked this show. I have tried to be fair to this show as much as I can be. There are moments in the show that I think I see you telling me to suffer. I see that in the chat, Shrike. I will remember you, and I will find you. I will share my suffering with you.
Lauren, you get to watch The Acolyte for a charity stream in November.
I have been very good to you people. I try to bring nice things to the channel.
We did an Indiana Jones video that was very popular, Lauren, you and I, and we actually got to talk about positive things. Tonight is not one of those.
I was starting to heal. And this, look, I think in the hands of better people, something could have been done with this show. But this episode flatly offended me in ways I can't even begin to explain. None of these characters are likable. None of them. There is nothing. There is nothing. I don't care about them. I don't like them. I want them to be dead. They were placed in a mud
hold on, before we get wiped off the map, Lauren, I just want to clarify so we don't get the as treatment here. We are specifically talking about the characters of Agatha all along and the characters only. That is our pro disclaimer, real quick. Go ahead, Lauren.
In Minecraft.
Are we also talking about the writers, the producers, the directors, the financiers?
Lauren, look, your suffering is not unnoticed or appreciated. I'm just going to tell you, you have now reached my peak level of upsettedness that I have been at since we started watching these ridiculous shows. Was there anything redeeming in this, Lauren? I have to ask that question because I will tell you my thoughts.
The first third of the episode actually made me interested, and then it threw it all away. Every bit of it.
No, there is nothing redeeming about this. They brought Ralph back, and that could have been a moment. And he's just a caricature. He is stupid. This show is stupid. The writers are stupid. Anybody who watches this, including myself, are stupid. I don't know why we're doing this.
Lauren, what if I told you I'm going to send you a fruitcake for Christmas?
That doesn't make things better, Pro. Then you've just given me a fruitcake. Look.
It has no expiration date, if that makes you feel better. There's zero expiration date on the fruitcake.
Like some of the other people on this panel, I'm on the ad-supported version of Disney Plus because I didn't want to give them any more money. You want to know how bad this show is? Here's how bad the show is. In most shows, you want to be done with the ads so you can get back to the show. I was praying that the ads would continue.
See, that's what I felt like about The Acolyte. I'm like, man, the commercials are better than this crap.
I would watch a Charmin commercial over this with the stupid cartoon bears that are telling me what a wonderful wiping experience they are having. Why are we doing this?
Enjoy the go.
At the end of our lives, we will be judged, and some of us will go to heaven, and some of us will go to hell. At that point, we can suffer. We don't have to do this now.
I don't know that we'll be suffering at that point, but maybe some of the people that made the show will, Lauren. So take some solace in that.
I don't know about you guys. I'm having a wonderful time. I am crying. I'm laughing so hard. Well, let's get some of these donations, though, real quick. We have had an additional anonymous donation of $5 to victims of the hurricane. We've had an additional anonymous donation of $1. Every single one matters. We've had Haywood Jablamy. That's how you pronounce it, I believe.
That's right.
Donated $4 Canadian. An anonymous donation of $20. And then also a huge $100 anonymous donation to victims of the hurricane. Folks, think about it. We are nearing in, I would say, at getting close. We're moving towards the $1,000 mark.
Yeah, we are. You guys are amazing.
So, folks, let's keep it going. And
incredible.
What a great thing to do. And that makes it worthwhile that Lauren has suffered And Lauren, I'm with you. I hated, I despised the last 2/3 of this episode because I wish the character who died and became a zombie for Billy, the fake boy, to inhabit. I wish he was the character we'd had the entire series. I want a series about that guy, and he's just a random kid.
Who
Did
cares?
anyone catch
Who cares?
the insult to Welcome Back, Cotter? You probably didn't catch it.
You're telling me they insulted Welcome Back, Cotter?
They
Your
insulted
dreams were
Welcome
your
Back,
ticket
Cotter.
out?
So,
All right, welcome back, Ron. Tell us what they do.
The family's name was Kaplan, and the kid kind of looks like he's related to Gabe Kaplan. And
Oh, wow.
William Kaplan was his name. And if you look at his hair, look at he's got the, he kind of looks like he could be the son or grandson of Gabe Kaplan. And I'm like,
Hello,
that's an
Mr.
insult to
Kaplan.
Welcome Back, Cotter.
Perhaps
I'm aging myself.
I don't know. I just feel like if anybody tries to tell me this is a family show, I will
All right,
cancel them.
Culture, we got to talk about it. The detractors out there are waiting for us to make a misstep on this, though. It's the first time that I recall in Marvel that we have a male-on-male smoocherucci.
Yeah.
Talk to the folks out there. How much did it matter? A kiss, Lorena. Sorry, I was speaking French there. We had the male-on-male kiss.
No, I got it. I got it. My
Okay,
brain just
yeah.
said it wasn't bad enough that we had to see Catherine Hahn's bare ass in the first episode. That wasn't enough. That wasn't part of it.
She's not a bear. Or
Lorena, once the Orthodox Jewish boy dies in a car wreck, Billy Maximoff, the pretend son of Wanda, escapes his pretendness and inhabits the body of the recently, like within 5 seconds, deceased Jewish boy, and then uses his body to go and pursue other young men. All right, Culture, tell us what your thoughts are. I'm going to leave Culture to be the only one to talk about this because Culture knows the game we have to play. Culture, your thoughts on it and the ramifications for Marvel going forward, if there are any.
I think they've separated themselves from being family friendly with this show. And again, it was because now you have a whole living room full of adults that are going to have to explain it to a whole living room full of kids what was going on because they
Except
haven't
that
been
nobody's
introduced.
watching this except us.
Which is
We're
true,
the one.
but it now disassociates the idea that Disney Plus is family friendly. This particular show is airing at a time when children are still awake and definitely watching things like this. If you are a parent and you're setting your kid in front of Disney Plus to watch a safe Marvel show, you would assume this may not have been it for you, depending upon your belief system, right? So Disney has not been family friendly. I've been trying to spell this out there in everywhere there is for a long time. It's been probably a good 8 to 10 years since Disney has decided to be a family friendly company. And it's fine, except that they completely have changed the mission of the company overall under Iger. At the same time, some adults may not have the message, so they're going to have to deal with some things that are uncomfortable. And look, guys kiss each other. I mean, men that are in love with each other, they do that. Okay. It just happens in society. But in everybody else's line of sight, right? This doesn't happen around most families until the kids are much older. So this is going to be a problem going forward because nobody will be able to actually trust. This show just caps off a long list of these problems, but that they aren't going to have to talk to their kids about a show. The most frequent question, myself, my buddy Jonas, you Pro, you Lorena, you Ron, you Lorne, you Nolan, is going to be, is it okay for me to let my kids see this? Can my kids go to this movie? Is it safe? Is this show safe? Disney just complicated that whole question even more so because their own pursuit right now. Go ahead.
No. Finish it off. I've got a question for Lauren. I've thought of something we need to explainify for the audience. Finish your thought, Culture. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, but the only explanation right now, the only situation right now would be that Disney's got a problem. They are no longer a family company, and they can't even claim it, and they can't say Disney Plus is family friendly, because family friendly would mean you would not even enter into any gray area, even if you put this in the gray area. And again, I'm somewhat socially liberal. Okay, some of this stuff I don't care about. What I care about is when you are now in a situation where kids should not be exposed to this. You need to leave kids as innocent as they are for as long as they can be. And I dropped a video yesterday that got just buried by YouTube because one of their animators is now on trial for the second time for bad behavior.
For heinous acts towards young people. Okay, so let me. Culture.
No. I just want to wrap it up and say this.
Yeah.
So this is something that I think Disney doesn't realize is going to be the most massive issue they will have to deal with going forward. If they think the theme parks are a problem, which they are, this doesn't help it. If they think any of their media enterprises are not suffering because of this, they're wrong. And if they think that their sports investments aren't going to have a problem, they're also wrong. You need to create broadly acceptable material if you claim to be a family-friendly company. Disney's not doing that anymore.
So let me tell you why this kiss might be more offensive than others might imagine. So if a dude and a dude kiss in a show, or a girl and a girl kiss, there's an argument to be made that will turn away particular segments of society.
Yes.
Let's set that to the side for a moment.
Sure.
In the show, this is the body of what appears to be an Orthodox Jewish boy.
Yes.
Whose body is taken hostage by some sort of witch spirit, and the witch spirit then has the Orthodox Jewish boy's body used for that purpose, which seems to go against the belief systems of orthodoxy within Judaism. I don't want to take any further. I just want to leave it there to say it could be interpreted that this shows writers that they are taking an anti-Orthodox Jewish message. So I'll leave it there. I want to go to Lauren for a moment now. Lauren, one of the things about a show that you always want is it needs to build anticipation for where it's going. I have no idea where this show is going. I don't even know what happened to the other witches. So, Lauren, can you explain to the folks out there what it is that we're doing with the Witches Road and why it matters and who cares? Like, we've got 2 episodes left. What is this about?
Presumably to survive and get to the end of the Witch's Road and find whatever it is your heart most desires.
It's like,
for me,
it's a
that's the end of the
wishing
show.
Star. It's a twisted wishing star.
Sure.
When your heart wants to go down the Witch's Road.
Could you imagine Jiminy Cricket showing up in this thing?
This show's getting really old.
I just look. I'm. Here's a comparison.
Let your Kevin be your guide. Let your
maybe
Kevin
so, but
be your guide.
Maybe so, but look, if even as an adult, if you're watching this show, okay, and again, the conversation I had was about having a conversation with young people that aren't directly related to you or to the person that's in your life, but having a conversation with kids who have not been exposed to this. It's against their religious beliefs, which, believe it or not, there are faiths across the globe that are going to be immediately not interested in the show for these very reasons, right? Because my conversation isn't about necessarily that. It's about you have to appeal to the broadest possible audience. Muslims are not going to dig this stuff.
No, they're gone.
The Jewish folks, Orthodox Jewish folks, as you pointed out, are going to have an issue with this, right? That set all of that aside. You've now created more trouble for yourself because you've made adversaries out of your audience. And now anything you produce is going to be weighed on a scale that's already balanced against you. It doesn't make good business sense. So, because everything I do, for the most part, when I'm trying to do this, I don't make moral judgments outside of what I did yesterday. I was incredibly upset yesterday. But
By the way, Culture, I'm going to be covering that Friday. So if you could give me tips for how to get around the YouTube algorithms, I'd appreciate it.
Well, good luck. I did not monetize that video because I was incredibly upset. But anyway, but when you look at it, you've made adversaries out of your audience. They won't trust you again, or if they do, it's limited trust. And now you've created a situation for every time they see you brush a line, they're less inclined to make your material available to their family. I look at it from the business side of the equation. This is bad business, and it has been since it started nearly a decade ago. The last 6 years have been terrible. So it's bleeding everywhere. And look, they've created, even in sports, they've created an army of racially biased people. You set this sexuality stuff to the side. You have racial bias situations that are happening. You have unbalanced coverage for athletes now based on the color of their skin. This is a problem. This never existed. My lifetime was all about an upbringing that created this complete racial blindness, for lack of a better way to say it. I know that troubles some people. Look, I can recognize the color of your skin, but that's not what I'm seeing because you're my friend. You're my people. I grew up in sports. I grew up in a culture where we all work together. That is not what's happening right now. It's not, and it happens at every level. You can set it aside based on every single checkbox that they want you to identify in media, and it upsets me because I grew up better than this, and now you're teaching it to people. We went from teaching you to banish all of these things to now.
You're saying that Culture, are you wanting us to talk about the is it the Simu Lu? Is that how you say his name? The guy who played
that was
not that freaking doofus.
Oh my gosh!
Look, and it just blows my mind. I'm like, look,
well, Culture, you enjoy sushi, and I think that's an appropriation that's inappropriate. You should stop eating. In fact, Culture, to seek forgiveness for your sins, you should stop enjoying fish whatsoever because it's probably more Japanese, honestly.
Can I say something?
Yes,
real quick, Lorena.
Please.
Let me call out the donations real quick, and then Lorena, you get the next word.
Do that.
Okay, on donations, we've got $20 donated to victims of the hurricane from Red Tigress. $5 anonymous donated to victims of the hurricane as well. Senior Dunny donated $20, and we're so appreciative of that. Brand new name, by the way. Happy to see you out there. Thank you to everybody who is donating to those who are in need. Lorena, take it away. Lorena, go ahead.
I don't think she hears us.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Lorena,
I was checking out something. No. I was just going to make a joke. I'm just going to say with the whole Simu Lu thing. That would be like me getting mad at Koreans for making better fried chicken than we do in the South.
Now wait a minute. It's Publix who makes the best fried chicken. Let's not lie about that.
In the U.S., I kid you not. I mean, I don't talk about this a whole lot, and I grew up around a whole lot of Koreans, and I'm just like, how in the world did you accomplish this? Well, apparently, because I had some black GIs over there in Korea during the Korean War, and they figured that out and they plussed that sucker up.
But you know what? There's no better compliment though than for someone to love and appreciate your culture or your society or your community. I mean, that is the beautiful thing about humanity and the sharing of it. That's what I think is so unique and amazing about America, is that we do share our unique experiences growing up in different communities, and we share that, and then we adopt that, and thank goodness for it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have pizza. And what would the world be without pizza? It might be like having Marvin the Movie Monster without Halloween Horror Nights.
Guys,
Marvin, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Bear. Yeah,
we can hear you, Marvin.
Bear.
All right, so apparently we're supposed to be having Halloween fun here, but no one has mentioned wine, candles, or menopause. I'm very confused.
Wait a minute, Marvin, do you see anyone dressed up as Agatha or her coven there? Do you see Billy?
No, I saw Velma earlier, but she was white, so I'm gonna go complain.
All right, for those of you who don't know, Marvin is coming to us from Universal Studios Orlando at Halloween Horror Nights. Go ahead, Marvin. Tell us what you see.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of people dressed in Renaissance gear here that look to be sick of some sort. I'm not sure if there's a bit of a flu going around, but a lot of them appear to be pale and bleeding from multiple sores, Pro.
I think Darth Plagueum has been there, clearly.
It's very possible. By the way, I disagree about the cultural appropriation. We Italians have had our pizza stolen for years by everyone from skater dudes to turtles, and it's got to stop.
Where's Tom when we need him? Where's Tom? I love turtles. All right, Marvin, give us Marvin. You got out of having to watch Agatha, but you're over there doing the Halloween Horror Nights. Tell the folks out there, how do you like Halloween Horror Nights? How's it compared to prior years?
You know what? It's really good this year. I'm enjoying it. Not as many scares. Definitely not as much fog. It's fun this year. The houses are good. Slaughter Cinema 2, which we just did again. That's my third time doing it. That was a really good one. And hold on, Pro. I see something. Hold on a second. Wait a minute.
Marvin,
Culture Casino, what are you doing out here? Culture is supposed to be on the stream.
Marvin, can you find out if that man is actually Culture disembodied somehow?
Guys, I think the one on the stream is an imposter. The real Culture Casino is stalking away from me right now in a pointed hat.
You're not gonna believe this, Marvin. We've lost Culture. He's not even in here anymore. Look, he's gone.
I know
He's
why.
been caught.
Seriously.
I can't believe this, folks. We've discovered the true identity and location of Culture Casino.
Wait, did that creature just die and then Culture's spirit entered his body right at that moment?
It's very possible.
It's the Billy effect. Billy. Oh my gosh. Well, Marvin, thank you for calling in. It was you took some time out of your fun over there at Horror Nights, and we really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. There he is again. There he
Culture,
goes.
get back on the. Can you get him back on the stream, please? All right, folks, we're going to send Marvin to try to get Culture back on the stream. Marvin,
thanks,
thank you so
guys.
much, folks. Check out Tooneytown TV. Marvin's going to get Culture back on for us. All right, fantastic stuff. Well, now we don't have Culture, and now we're ready to give the score for Agatha, episode 6, and we don't have someone who hated it just as much as Lauren did. Darn it, Lorena, did you have a chance to watch the episode, or did you have to skip it tonight?
I had to skip it tonight because I had too much stuff that was going on. So
Lorena,
to make
you
up
represent
for it,
you represent
will
the vast
binge
majority.
it.
Oh no, Lorena, we can't do that to you. No, we're not cruel like that. All right, let's go to Ron though.
Okay.
Ron, on a scale of 0 to 10, on a scale of 0 to 10, what do you give episode 6 for a numerical score? 5 is average, 10 is perfect, 0 is the worst garbage you've ever seen.
Because I would give it a 0, but I did like the first third just like you. So I'm going to go with 1.5.
In other words, you liked the character that we'll never see again, whose body has been inhabited by the character we're supposed to care about. This feels much like the Acolyte again.
He actually did a really good job with the acting there, and then you see him switch to Billy. And
Billy sucks, man. Nobody likes Billy. Billy sucks. All right, Lauren.
Yes, he does.
Scale of 0 to 10. What do you say?
It gets nothing.
All right.
You lose. Good day,
0.
sir.
That's right.
Day, sir.
0. Nolan, 0 to 10. What do you give it?
I just think it's mediocre and below average. I give it a 4. And the only reason it gets that much higher is because at the very end of it, during the credits, I saw Lisa Simpson. It reminded me of a much better show. So it had a second of something better, some hope. So for me, it's just like, yeah, I'll probably never watch this ever again in my life. And when I'm an old man in a retirement home, I'll be leaving with a smile knowing I never have to see this crap ever again.
That's right.
You gave this a 4?
for ever never having to watch again.
We're going to have a talk after this stream.
All right.
Guys, this is probably gonna be my last time on the Pro Show. It's been nice knowing you all.
All right. Well, here's my score for it. So I despise this episode, but I'm also stuck because there was 1/3 of it that gave me the feeling that this could have been a good show if the morals were different behind all of it.
Are you a fool? Have you taken leave of your senses?
So I will be giving this a 2. I will be giving this a 2. And we have Culture back. Culture, welcome back from Halloween Horror Nights.
Yes, thank you.
Marvin found you, and I'm glad he put you back on the stream.
He did. Yeah, I appreciate that. Marvin whisked me off to a beautiful place with lots of scary things.
Oh, well, until you said the scary things, I was wondering why Marvin never whisks me away to a wonderful place, but okay. Culture, you're the last one up for giving Agatha episode 6 a numerical score, 0 to 10. 5 is average, 10 is perfect, and 0 is the worst garbage you've ever seen.
Yeah. Bro. Look, let you. What did you give it?
I gave it nothing.
Well, I'm sorry, I have to give it more than nothing. But I would love to give it closer to nothing. This was actually still an average of a 2. They've managed to give me a 2. And Lauren, the only reason is because there were a few interesting things along the way.
In this episode?
Yeah. The beginning was not terribly offensive for a change. And yeah, here's the problem. We've been living in an ever evolving gradual descent into garbage. And look, the bar keeps lowering. So like 5 to 10 years ago, if you ask me about the show.
We get to review Arcane soon. So when Arcane comes out, we get to do a completely different kind of show where we have fun and we talk about how cool it was. Please let Arcane season 2 be as good as the first.
I want it to be good. I think we all do. I mean, there are good shows on television. We talk about them. But there are way more terrible television products out there. And look, I'm going back and I'm like watching Suits again just to like refresh my memory about the things that I didn't enjoy about it the first time and the things that were really well done. And as bad as it is, because Suits is a marginal show, it's better than any of the trash that's being released now. And that's why it's one of the #1 streaming shows there is.
Let it soak in. You know how hard it is to have episode after episode. Like, we have 5-6 people on these panels week after week after week reviewing this. Yeah. Do you know how hard it is to get scores down below 2 out of 10 with a panel of 5 people? Do you know how difficult, how terrible something has to be to make this happen over and over and over? It's a special kind of terrible. And Lauren has represented on his face just how he feels about it.
And look, I know where Lauren's coming from. The problem is that Lauren hasn't seen what I have seen.
Oh, he will in November.
I've seen some stuff, man. I've seen enough.
Well, talk about seeing some stuff. I've seen a $20 anonymous donation to victims of Hurricane Helene, and we're so happy to have that, folks.
Yes.
I do want a panel to go into a tricky subject, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody okay with that?
All right.
Yeah, I just got to say one thing about this show, the Agatha show. It really feels to me like it's part of the CW. Like literally. Like
you just insulted the CW, man.
No. Well,
it deserved it.
I think they're both. They both kind of deserve it.
The Supergirl show went into territory that this felt like it was part of the Supergirl.
But Ron, and I know you, so I kind of know the beginning of Supergirl was not terrible.
No, the beginning was fine. It's just a lot. The CW, I like the whole Arrowverse, and then the whole Arrowverse started to go downhill.
Okay, so Lorena, you and I subjected ourselves to Batwoman. Okay, and that got progressively worser. And that's not a word. I'm gonna be grammatically incorrect. That worser was not good.
No, it was not good, and that's probably the only show where I'm usually upbeat and everything. Oh no, 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 no! I was not reviewing that show.
Okay, so the Batwoman verse, that's the CW in general, just the Batwoman verse.
Oh no, this was worse. At least the first season of Batwoman, I got some good laughs out of.
Yeah.
Second season, that was freaking garbage.
Well, what I hate is that, look, Ruby Rose, for whatever you think of her and what she's done, she didn't deserve to get hurt on the show.
No,
the way she was, and terrible injury, and I don't blame her for leaving the show. And I'm going to tell you, Batwoman got Monica Rambeau'd, and it was not for the better. And Monica Rambeau's not to blame for the character that she's playing. It's terrible writing in that case. You can spread this out. You can certainly go about blaming the actors for saying dumb things because their publicists want them to. That's fine. But you can certainly point at the terrible writing for why things are such colossal failures. That's actually the truth of it all. And we need to assign more blame to the people that are underwriting the shows and the writers and the showrunners and the producers. Those people need to be shouldering it. Sorry.
At this point, I think it's appropriate to ask which is worse from a quality standpoint, Agatha or Joker 2. But that's a topic for another video because we've got something very, very spicy to talk about, folks. And that is the Asmongold situation.
Can I say something about Joker 2 really quick?
You sure can. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a movie I think you can get behind.
Those guards certainly did.
Yes. Well.
Now, see, I'm going to get in trouble.
I feel like, Lauren, you should give that talk at Penn State. All right. John Trent. Wow. John Trent is the author of this article over on That Park Place. It says, after Asmongold announced he was stepping away from Starforge Systems, company appears to condemn him for his comments about the situation in the Middle East. It says, in the wake of Asmongold announcing he was stepping away from Starforge Systems, the company that he co-owned and co-created appeared to condemn him. Earlier this week, during one of his streams, Asmongold commented on a very particular situation in the world. In a clip uploaded to the Drama Alert account on X, he said, if you want to consider a very awful situation as a systemic killing of people, they have... Okay, so we basically can't read that. So Asmongold went very far on a very hot issue. Here's the question that we have to ask. It appears to me now that both Asmongold and Mr. Beast are in danger of being fully canceled off of being content creators. So I just wanted to ask the panel, as content creators yourselves, how do you feel that we should carry ourselves? And do you think that one major, huge slip up means forever cancellation? Or do you think there should be opportunities for grace and redemption? And I'm not here to tell you that I think Asmongold said something wrong or right. I don't want to wade into any of that at all. I want to talk about the cancellation culture that exists, the protocols that are in place where if you screw up majorly, it's over. It's just flat out over. By the way, we've seen this before too with sports announcers and things where they say things that are really offensive, but maybe they made a mistake. It's really hard to get into the mind of someone and understand their motivation and to understand, like, what is it that caused them to say something that could either be repugnant or perceived as repugnant. Panel, what do you guys think and you girls think about the cancel situation in our world and how content creators should navigate it? Your thoughts? And everybody's like, pro, we're not touching this. We know this is dangerous.
You need to call on people.
I'll jump out there and I'll do it.
Lauren said I can call on people, Culture. I think I'm going to call on him and give him make it even more difficult. Lauren, talk about the existentialism that exists inside of this, and also if you could relate this back to the French Revolution, please.
Well, I doubt if I could do that, but I'm about as close to a free speech absolutist as I think you can be, because I think bad speech actually does serve a purpose. It does show when bad ideas crop up that if people come out against you, if they argue with speech as well, then you've got a debate. And oftentimes things come out the wrong way. You may say something and have it framed in your mind as one thing, But
Like
it
a really
comes
bad
out
trip
as,
to Chipotle.
yeah, I mean, there's times when you might make an off-color joke or something on a stream, and it doesn't land the way that you want it to, and that can get you in trouble, But we're human beings. I am about as against any kind of censorship as I think you can be. There's all kinds of people that I disagree with very, very deeply, but I would never want their speech to be curtailed in any way, because you have to debate these ideas. If you don't, if you drive them underground, that fosters resentment. It leads to a festering situation that can become a bad thing. Debate is always positive. And so when it comes to cancellation, I think it's a bad kind of policy. I don't think that the content platforms should be censoring the people on their platforms. I don't think that people should be calling for people to be canceled. Now, if you don't want to support somebody's speech, you don't have to watch their channel.
Yeah.
You don't have to engage with them. But I don't think that means that you should be pressuring anybody to pull them down.
Well, and that's the biggest problem, right? Is that YouTube or whoever we're talking about should not be allowed to go after people's content. I mean, unless it actually violates the law and or is outside of COPA, which is a legal structure, there shouldn't be anything there. Why? Well, because, people are free to say dumb stuff. People say dumb stuff all the time. Believe me, in my world, dumb stuff's said all the time. Having the ability to have bad ideas out there in the world, it's because they're so easy to repudiate. That's a good thing. I don't see a problem with that. As you pointed out, debate is good, and knocking down bad ideas is really important. And if somebody actually goes into a debate, excuse me, and does so poorly that you can't possibly agree with them, they spit nothing but word salad and or ad hominem attacks, they've already lost. Because we need to rely on the arena of ideas as like a battleground and allow for the conversation to happen. Because if you can't defend your point, was it worth even bringing up in the first place? Asmongold, in that particular reaction, was speaking off the cuff from a somewhat informed position, talking about the fact that the situation exists and has for whoever knows how long, and that the parties involved were, acting out against each other over various different things that nobody on this side of the world can even comprehend or even deal with. He's allowed to talk about that, and he's not wrong about some of the ideas that come about because of some of the statements that he made. There are segments of the population around the globe that have a all or nothing perspective, which leads to, outright problems that might drive one another to unalive each other. That's
here's
something we've
something
always
interesting
functioned
too,
with.
Culture.
Yeah.
Just from a philosophical standpoint, there's a voice out there that, I mean, genuinely, we disagree with 100% of what this person says.
Sure.
And the person says it in ways that are seemingly intentionally as offensive as they can be. I'm talking about the senior editor of Kotaku, Alyssa Mercante. I have never called for Alyssa Mercante to be canceled.
No,
Why do I not? Why? Right.
Yeah,
So she has terrible ideas.
And we capitalize on them.
That's right. Put them out there like a piñata, not her, the ideas. And, that's what bad ideas do. I don't want to make any kind of prescription or any kind of statement about Asmongold and what he said. I don't want to get into that. I just do find it fascinating that as YouTube grows, and I think this is the way to put the bow on this, unless someone else has another word they want to add. As YouTube grows, it's dominating Disney Plus. After tonight, watching Agatha, we know why. It's dominating even Netflix. YouTube is the biggest, baddest streamer there is. The content creators on YouTube are more independent than the corporations that run the other platforms. As YouTube grows and those content creators get more and more sponsorship and more clout, as they are the ones that the legacy media wishes that they could be, you're going to see, I think, more scrutiny placed on those at high levels who never probably took a PR class in college, who don't know how quickly their careers can end. I think you're going to see more of this And I would just point out to content creators out there, we can all be very guilty of making very stupid statements very quickly that are not well thought out. And the more spicy the topic, the quicker it can happen. Be careful and be knowledgeable of the responsibility you bear, because oftentimes content creators such as Asmongold and others, you might not know this. They employ a team of people.
Yeah.
I can tell you just this channel, we have a team of people who make it run. And so everything that gets done needs to go through that knowledge of how does this impact everybody who's depending on this, and how does it impact the voice that's going out there? Recognizing, and this is really important, that many out there are proverbially behind enemy lines. Google and Meta and Alphabet and Microsoft, they don't agree with almost anything that people in the middle or the right think. So be savvy in how you express yourself, knowing that you are behind often enemy lines. Lauren, I saw you wanting to hop in.
Yeah, there were a couple other things I wanted to say that are kind of related to the topic. And one of them is the self-censorship that we have to do when we're doing these kind of talks. There are certain words we can't say, and that drives me absolutely crazy. I hate that.
And it's automated too, Lauren. I hate it as well. Yeah. The crazy thing is it's automated. There are robots. There are algorithms, right? Synthetically monitoring and looking for particular words, and then poof, there goes your visibility if they get said. They don't care about context. They don't care about depth of intellect. They're just looking for the word or any word that sounds
they just care about the sound bite that comes out. And that's what they're looking for. And to kind of agree with what you gentlemen were saying, there's a reason that debate was so prized back in the day. I mean, if you want a good look into how ideas were debated, go back and read the Federalist Papers. Go read some of those discussions. This is why I'm against a ban on so-called CRT. It's like, no, put that up there along with socialism and along with everything else, and you have that whole debate. Put everything out there.
Goes in a little bit to what the next point that I wanted to talk about is, that's related to what we're talking about, and that's what's happening in the gaming industry. Is you can see that they are going through what looks like a AAA studio collapse this year because they have adopted all of this. And the people that are winning right now are the AA smaller studios that are suddenly filling the gap and getting a lot of attention. That is exactly how this is supposed to work. And Hollywood should be taking great notice, because the gaming industry is bigger than Hollywood. There's more money at stake and a lot more time investment in the production of those than there are in your average movie production anymore. So Hollywood's got to be feeling a little bit nervous about that.
True, very true. All right, folks, we have gone through some stuff tonight, intellectual and definitely not. Agatha on the opposite end of what we like to do, which is use our minds and our thoughts and have an inspiring adventure. Disney, take note. We could use more of that. We'll do it with Arcane, folks. Arcane, I think, is coming out in October, November, and then also we'll be doing these live reviews of Skeleton Crew once that happens. Make sure that you don't miss Lauren Connor doing the Acolyte. What shall we call this? The Acolyte charity stream, where Lauren is finally going to have to watch it. We'll get his live reaction. And Lauren, I'm so sorry.
Now understand. Now understand. It's going to be myself and Lauren, and I think I will be able to guide him through this. I think he needs a Sherpa on this one.
What flavor of popcorn will you be slowly eating as you watch Lauren's face? That's what we need to know.
Caramel corn. I'll be having kettle caramel corn.
Next poll coming up in place, caramel or caramel? We'll find out.
Part of the reason that I agreed to do this is that this is a charity thing, and so
it will be.
This is why we're suffering, and it's a worthy cause. But I'm still going to hold it against you.
We actually are going to we're going to donate money to right in time for the holidays for children. We'll let you know
Yes.
that particular charity. I don't want to call it out and then have to make a change at the last minute because we find something bad about a charity. So we'll hold, but it's going to be a charity that goes towards getting toys to kids in time for Christmas. So
it's important to both Lauren and I. So it'll be a lot of fun. And
That's right.
And I know that Lauren's heart is in the right place. And I have to tell you, my inspiration for watching Star Wars terribleness over and over again is Lorena Creel. Because she is able to laugh at everything they do. I was
going to say, don't put that on Lorena. How dare you, sir? Put that on Lorena.
She's joyful. She's joyful when they do the thing, whatever the thing happens to be.
They do they do the thing.
They do the
Is
thing,
it that
or
I have the nice laugh, or when I do the maniacal evil laugh, like somebody's going to pay for this?
It's when you get an extra push up onto the
force push,
or when you do the in space cartwheel on a spaceship. It's so good.
I did see the scene of the witches dying in that one scene that I saw. That actually I thought was hilarious. So
that's one of the clips of that's one of the greatest clips of the entire Pro Channel, Lauren, is when you died laughing as they all collapsed in unison. It was great.
I'm kind of hoping I can find that kind of thing in there to get me through it. But
the fact that there's no season 2 will make it more palatable. Folks, something that's really palatable is James has donated $50 to victims of the hurricane. We want to thank James for doing so. Folks, that's going to be a wrap for us this evening. We're going to be back with 3 videos a day. Don't forget that the Pro Show is going to twice weekly starting the last week of October.
Yeah.
That means starting the 29th, it'll be Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon, every Tuesday and Thursday at noon for the Pro Channel. We'll also be switching to 4 videos a day beginning in November. So lots and lots of stuff coming your way. Culture?
No, I just want to say that also scheduling for that game place might have a slight move, and you're going to see more videos coming out of us as well. Everything tied to, I think, that game place is getting bigger and better, including all of these amazing creators that surround us. So thank you all, especially Lord, because he's suffering.
It's temporary. We'll get through it.
Well, folks, I hope that you will go and subscribe to Lorena Creole, follow the Bradley's Fun, Culture Casino and That Game Place, Nolan Thunder, and Lorne Connor. Folks, make sure you get over there and subscribe to all of our wonderful guests. I would go around the horn and have each one of them tell you what they're bringing to the table, but I have someone I have to pick up at the airport in just a little bit, and I have to leave rather hastily. So, folks, thanks for such a wonderful time, and thank you for being inclined to share your time with us. It's a joy, an attitude of gratitude every single time you hop in with a live stream. Folks, we're nearing the end of Agatha, but not the end of covering the terrible pop of pop culture as it drops and drops. More coming your way every single day. Until the next time, folks, here's the outro you love so much. The mainstream media just can't understand how it is we continue to do what we do. They don't realize that we are powered by you, and you are
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
Folks, we've still got decades and decades left in the can. It drives the mainstream mad.
Would it make you feel any better if you knew that what we're asking Matt here to do is a holy thing?
You see, we're on a mission from God. We're on a mission from God.
Now you're gonna put me right back in the joint.
They're not gonna catch us. We're on a mission from God.
So, folks, as we always say, as we end each and every show here, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Every time they hit him, he stood back up again. So they hit him harder. Still, he got back to his feet. Standing man.